In recent years, there's been an increase in awareness about the number of children and teens who question their gender, whether they feel male, female, non-binary, or other diverse terms used for gender identity.
Gender questioning conversations can be difficult for caregivers. So what if you're starting to pick up on some clues? How do you approach your teen? Morning anchor and health reporter Kirsten O'Connor is standing by now to ask a doctor.
Ask a Doctor is sponsored by Conviva Primary Care for Seniors.
And Dr. Elizabeth Carreno-Rio is an adolescent medicine physician at Arnold Palmer Hospital. She joins us today for this segment, and thank you so much for being here with us.
You're very welcome. Thank you for having me.
So let's just start off by talking about how you approach this topic as a parent. What is something that you talk to parents about to help get them ready?
Well, once children start talking about gender, which can happen anywhere in their lifespan, we usually tell parents to just be welcoming, to be accepting, and even when they are in shock, to just tell their kids that it is okay and they will figure it out together. And when they have a real question and they are struggling, it is important to go to a specialist, to talk to somebody who has some sort of training in this area. Because if your pediatrician can be the person who guides you through this, and you need to understand that sometimes not everybody is at the same stage developmentally or even on their understanding or even awareness of what their gender identity is at that time. So we usually try to tell them just, I accept you, I love you, and I want you to just be able to talk to me about these topics.
And when you talk about adolescence, typically that, usually means teenagers. I know that most people hear teenagers. But how young could we be having these questions and topics with children?
So the youngest I have heard of is an 18-year-old child come out to their moms and say, when am I going to grow my boy's body parts? And that was an 18 months old. They assumed that they were a boy, and this was assigned female at birth. And we are talking about who we are chromosomically. We may be XX, and that way I am a cisgender woman. I was born as a woman, and I was identified as that. Eventually, I grew up to have a gender identity that matches my biology. But for some children, that's not the case. And that's when you have gender diverse youth or transgender kids, which is when you might be born with a gender or a sex assigned at birth, which might be female or male, and then you grow up to identify as the opposite sex. But this is just the binary. When we are talking about the non-binary, where you are gender diverse, you could have somebody who don't have a sense of gender, or somebody who has a sense of being in between, somewhere in between. So we talk about gender identity as something that is our innermost sense of self, and it could be male or female or something in between. So you cannot, we can never try to guess what our child is going to be. We are just trying to make an environment that is welcoming and open and affirming. And when we talk about affirming, it's just to allow them to express themselves in the way that they are, they feel they are.
And I know parents are going to think, okay, I need to read up on this and I need to be aware of this right now. So what are some resources that they can use to make sure that they're ready?
So we try to go with always scientifically backed information, and we try to stay with the American Academy of Pediatrics, like our website is an excellent resource for parents. I wish that you can put up online later for people to see the names of all of the websites that we have. PFLAG is a great resource as well. So ours, from our American Academy of Pediatrics, you can find it as children's. I'm very bad with names.
We'll make sure we put it on clickorlando.com.
Thank you.
But you know that there are resources, and that's something, would you tell a parent that's something that they should look for and read through?
Yes, definitely, because we are not born, and society doesn't usually support a conversation about gender until it is something important to talk about when children come out to us. So it is very important to actually have a conversation about this from maybe early age, but you can talk to your pediatrician if you feel that there is something that that your child is questioning. Then your pediatrician will be able to ask the right questions, like, do you feel like you're a boy? Do you feel like you're a girl? Or do you feel different inside? And these are simple questions to ask kids, but at home I don't recommend that you do that. You observe your child. Sometimes for many parents it is so that they already have kind of a little bit of a hint that this is something that might be going on. For other parents it's just a complete surprise, and it's because of how everybody develops differently. So that's basically what we usually recommend.
And you said acceptance is key. What are some words of acceptance that you could offer parents?
So just telling your child when you are in shock and you don't know exactly how to respond, just tell them I love you, and I understand that this is something that we will figure out together. And that's it. You keep it simple. You don't have to try to explain to your child why they feel different. They are not looking for that. They are looking for acceptance and affirmation, and they are looking to be loved. And we have seen with the Family Acceptance Project from Dr. Caitlin Ryan that this is the best way to go, and that's why the American Academy of Pediatrics, the Endocrine Society, the WPATH, which is the world organization that oversees transgender health, all are aligned in that an affirming environment is the best treatment you can offer your child. It doesn't have to do with medical transition or surgical transition. We are just talking about affirming and understanding, and that's it.
All right. Thank you
Yes.
for answering so many questions and being a part of our Ask a Doctor segment. We really appreciate it.
Thank you very much. I appreciate you having me here.